Boom! We are here, episode 10, Hoppy Hour, Banko's Hoppy Hour. And this is the godfather of beer, Joe Marino, the Sultan of Suds. And I'm here with special guests, Pizza Lou Debarbieri, his lovely daughter, Skylar, and some bald guy that we throw in here for filler.
How you doing, guys? How you doing?
So, if you see the 50 cans here, the Miller Lite 50 anniversary cans, we're also celebrating Lou's 50-yard line sports 50th anniversary. So we're probably about a week or two past his anniversary, which was June 6th. 50 years, great accomplishment for Lou. And so we're going to just ask Lou a few questions. We like this. We love the setting and in this non-sterile environment of being where the people are. And so, Lou, like this, first of all, thank you for 50 years. Yes, non-sterile. You know, it's not a studio.
Hospital, I know,
it's not a studio.
Sterile.
We're here, right? So,
Right.
Please ignore the guy to my left. So 50 years, Lou. How did it all start, buddy?
Oh, back in 1975, I was a junior at Freedom, and when I was 14, I worked at a Pizza Como on Union Boulevard for Sal Venezia, and I learned the business, and I was going to Votech over at Freedom. What I did was I worked here from Votech in the afternoon, so I worked here in 11th grade, so I was 17, and that was 1975. Another 50 years later, we're back here in 2025.
I mean, you fast forwarded really quickly into that story. You were like, "Yeah, I was at Votech in 2025. Here I am."
Yeah.
So when you were at Freedom, your parents were running the operation here.
Well, my dad had a job at the steel company, so he was in the steel business. My mom helped me.
Okay. So the day, I remember this place. So Pizza Como, there's a lot of Pizza Comos. Like it's like kind of a generic name in the pizza
franchise,
business.
isn't
It was.
Yeah.
And it was. So I think you've kind of morphed from being Pizza Como to Lou's. And that's sort of how you want to be identified at this time as Lou's 50-yard line.
Yeah, it's Pizza
Goal
Como.
line.
Yeah, we changed the logo a little bit. And so, we changed the facelift in the front this year. That makes it look a little more road appealing, curb appealing.
Yeah, so anybody who's listening to this and is anywhere in the Lehigh Valley could know that Lou had just done a big remake facelift on the property here, and it's absolutely awesome. So Lou's 50-yard line. So how does sports and pizza and beer all fit together for you and your family?
Okay, so...
And Skylar, you can answer that.
I'd have to say that sports has come a long way throughout the years, and especially like the Eagles for football, that's one of the big things we have going on. They just won the last Super Bowl. So that definitely has a big impact in everything about when people want to come in, just have a good time, especially with like UFC fights as well. That's also a big thing as well. So yeah, I'd say sports and pizza is just a big thing where people want to have pizza and chillax and just have a good time together.
Lou was on top of it before the internet. I don't know, the camera's probably still, but you can't see. He's got these helmets from, they're probably from 1985.
Yeah, they're old.
But, Lou's got a crowd of Brown fans that come here to every game. Like, it's your local bar, so that's where the sports grew into. You get your pizza, you can go home if you don't want to be here because those Cleveland guys are here, I get it. But yeah, there's a crowd that comes and hangs out, and it's a sports bar.
Yeah.
So do you, Skylar and Lou, do you do a lot of, like, on the pay-per-views, do you invest in that pay-per-views to get people in here on those nights?
The UFC's big, so we do that, and a lot of places in the area don't have it. So it's, we get a good draw for that. It works well.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of places struggled during COVID. Everybody did. But I think it's one of the things where you've adapted that you are probably one of the only places on any night of the week where you can get a drink, like up until, Skylar, tell me.
2 a.m., yeah.
Till 2 a.m., okay. Because most places, at 10 o'clock, you can shoot a bazooka through most places and you wouldn't hit anybody.
Right.
So, but I know that a friend of mine said, I was searching all over the place, trying to find a place at midnight to take my daughter, for a drink. Like, so the minute she was 21, I could get a drink. And he told me, I ended up at Lou's because that was the only place that was open. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so does that work out for you? And, they say nothing good happens after midnight, but maybe at Lou's is different.
It's pretty mellow. We've got an older clientele in here, and we're far enough from Lehigh and Moravian, so we don't get that influx of.
2 a.m. in Arizona is like what? That's like 11-ish.
Yeah.
So he's still awake, checking out the cameras. Everything's still safe.
So
It's a
I've
different-
been to
it's a different vibe.
Arizona.
It's a different
You-
vibe.
if you can get a drink in Arizona at 2 in the morning, you're not in Arizona.
Never been to Arizona.
Oh, I've been, so you can't.
It's too hot.
So you've seen, Lou, you've seen beers come and go. We're drinking Miller Lite. Miller Lite's a staple. We discussed this a couple weeks ago, like actually over the internet, about how you bought so much Miller Lite and stuff from Banko and our lagers and all our brands in particular. But you've seen beers come and go. How do you see the beer business now, and what's the beers that you sell the most of now, and beers that you say, hey, I remember when Banko sold me this or Banko sold me that, because this is all about you and Banko and Miller Lite.
Well, when we had the little bar over there on the side, we just had Heineken and Genesee Cream Ale on tap.
Jenny Creamies.
Yeah. That was the two
1978.
Yeah. So I actually drank that in high school. That was the first beer I had, Genesee.
It was
Cream
legal
Ale.
to drink beer when you were in high school.
Yep.
Little
well,
known
we used to
factor.
go to Jersey and drink, and it was 18.
Yeah.
It was legal.
Yep. I can remember that.
Sorry, Scott.
And I could add to the sports bar how it became a sports bar. It wasn't like I wanted to build a sports bar. What happened was I was tossing pizzas over there on a Sunday afternoon, so I wanted to watch the Washington Redskins because that's my mom's first cousin, Vince Lombardi. So what I did is put a big C-band dish up so I could watch the Redskins play. Then before you know it, I had to get another dish and put the Cowboys on, Minnesota Vikings, so that translated into a sports bar. And the only other sports bar in the area was Chicago's on Hamilton Street back in the early 80s.
I remember those days, yeah.
Pre-Doug.
Oh, yeah.
My story was so close.
Yeah.
I knew you were before like Satellite and Cleveland Browns. I don't know, but you had a big Satellite dish.
And a lot of people didn't want to go through the expense of putting a big C-band dish up because not too many people installed them, and it was a lot of work. You didn't just look at the channel guide and go, oh yeah, Minnesota's playing the Cowboys on, I think you got to look for it. And it took some time. So
Didn't you for a while have speakers on every table too?
Yeah, we had those speaker stands. That was cool.
I remember one time, and I don't know when it actually happened, but I think one year 50-inch TVs went from $800 to like $200. I don't know how or why. I mean, there was a guy on, I'm going to say on the east side somewhere, who would have these 50-inch TVs. They had, scratches in them and burn marks in them and all this stuff. And that's where some of the guys would buy all these old, like they used to have the 27-inch TVs that actually were a box. They weren't these nice flat
the
screens.
The old Vegas.
Oh, the old, the
Who had them on top of
27.
the coolers over there. That's
They were
They were hanging
27-inch TVs. They weighed 400 pounds.
They
You know
were
what I mean?
actually 50-inch, and I remember when they had smoking in here, that static charge, take all the nicotine. I had to wipe those things down like once a week.
Yeah, and they were like, they were
Great
like,
picture though.
but now you go to places and they have 50. How many TVs do you have here, Lou?
48.
Yeah, at least 48.
Yeah, it's amazing. 48. They're all beautiful. But imagine having that old 27-inch, those old Sonys. They used to have these. I remember I just threw them out. Like they used to have these stands. You screwed them into the wall, and you set this thing on top of it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And like now, it's beautiful in here. And so again, community service. What do you do as far as like? I know you support the community. You have a great place here that a lot of the people in the community flock to eat and drink. Is there anything that you do, any local fundraisers, stuff that you're part of that you'd like us to talk about now?
The local churches, we do pizza. We give pizzas to them. They wrap them off, and Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We always try to help I never say no when there's a donation to a good cause.
Right. So when I was here last week, you told me about your pizza guy, and your pizza guy is, what's his name?
Sal.
Sal. So they have a great pizza maker here, Sal.
From Sicily.
He's from Sicily, and he makes great pizza. So what are your best pizzas, or your favorite, and what's the pairing? Like, I know they all go good with beer, and especially Miller Lite and Heineken and whatever else we sell. I don't think it goes good with any other beer, but I'm pretty sure it goes good with all the stuff that we have.
A lot of research.
Right.
Well, we have the cup pepperoni. It's like cupped. When it gets hot, it starts like bowling out.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
That's what's on your pie over there.
Okay, I got one ready to go, kids.
Yeah, and we use Mike's spicy hot sauce, honey hot. We put that on pies. My favorite is the sausage and green peppers and onions. It's like a sausage sandwich, but flat. But Skylar, what's your favorite pie?
Well, we do this new thing called Pizza of the Month, and we have a new pizza every month. This month's barbecue pizza with pineapple, red onion, cilantro, and then bacon bits on top as well. That's super good.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, gotta try that one. But my favorite, I made a pizza with pepperoni, roasted red peppers, and then some hot honey on top. It's simple, but it's super good. That's one of my favorites, I'd say.
Yeah, I see, like I follow some of these pizza guys from New York, and it seems like everybody wants to put whatever they can dream of on a pizza.
Yeah.
Macaroni and cheese, anything.
Pineapple's good on pizza.
Yeah, if you put the red onion. I mean, it's like to everybody's taste, but you have a pretty good selection back there. You sell a lot of slices. You have like what they call in the pizza business the counter. That's the big part of all this. And I've done some podcasts with some other pizza guys, but I know Lou for many years, and I was here on Friday for his anniversary, and I got the best slice of Sicilian pizza that I've had in a long time. And so Pizza Como is still here. It's just, it's Lou's 50-yard line. So,
and another thing, Sal's from Sicily, and he's a pastry chef. So we have a whole pastry counter we put in for him, from pistachio cake, from carrot cake. What other cakes we have that are good?
A raspberry cheesecake.
Tiramisu.
Yeah.
well, I'm going to have to get one of those to go for my wife.
And everything's made by scratch. He makes everything in-house. There's nothing pre-made. Everything's made right here in the morning. He makes fresh calamari, fried calamari. It's so good.
So, do you have any? What's your delivery process? Do you do delivery or
Yeah, we do.
by your own delivery people?
And that helped us out with COVID. We do a 3-mile radius around our restaurant. And we have our own drivers, and we have apps from Slice and Chow Now and Grubhub. Anybody else we got on that? DoorDash.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of different options you can do.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of food to go, believe it or not. That's probably the hunk of our business, deliveries and food pickup.
Yeah, and
There he goes right now.
it sounds like you've adapted to like the new generation of people that kind of like, I don't know, want to sit at home and like look out the window. I mean, there's still people like, we're here now live, and there's
Well, you deliver beer.
immunized crowd. So
That's the new what you're talking about. People always want a pizza at home. That's
right.
But yeah, you can get pizza coma at home. You get a 12-pack and a nice pizza and some wings.
Yeah, we deliver beer, cold beer. You got to be over 21, and you got to have valid driver's license. But
That's
yeah,
just for legal
something.
things.
We did that, 10 years ago. Started to deliver beer.
So Lou, let me ask you this question. I'm going to interrupt this.
Go ahead. You
script
can
we're
ask
doing
anything
stuff.
you want, Doug.
That's what I just
because
did.
I'm getting tired of like,
I'm
asking questions.
I know there's a script, but I want to know, like, so we did 50 years, or not we. You did 50 years.
No.
I see Skylar here. What's the next 50-year plan? Have at it.
Well, Skylar, go ahead. What's your plan?
Okay.
She's going to ASU now. She's
Yeah.
going to be a second year.
Well, we're gonna have a party in July, so that's gonna be like a bigger celebration. We're gonna do 2 weekends in July. We're gonna have a whole tent outside in the parking lot and all, a bunch of games and giveaways and whatnot. But next 50 years, who knows? We might expand a little bit. I'm thinking of opening maybe something in Arizona, maybe something, who knows, right? But definitely this will stay another 50 years for sure. I mean, you got to keep it going for 100 years at least, right? And who knows? Could be even longer.
I mean, at least 50, right? You got to get to 100.
Yep, for sure.
So
Legacies.
So Lou, what advice did you give to Skylar, and what advice would you give to an upcoming entrepreneur that says, you know what, I think I want to open up a pizza shop, and what do you think? What should I do?
Treat your customers like you want to be treated.
Good advice.
I treat all my employees pretty close. I don't look like they're just somebody that works for me, and I'm a realist. I try to treat everybody equal. And when they do good, I give them a pat in the back. I always like to be socialized with all of my customers.
Nice job, Skylar.
Good job. What else? I always ask my patrons how the food is. I always try to accommodate them. It's like second nature. I walk by a table, even if I don't have my 50-yard line shirt on, I always ask them. And they look at me kind of weird.
Yeah, who
like
are
I'm
you?
a regular person.
Lou stays ahead of
Who's
the
this
curve.
guy?
He's always trying something new. So he got I don't know if anybody else has this, but on his faucets, he has a device that makes his beer 34 degrees, every draft beer. He's like,
Which is great.
Doug, I got to get this. I'm like,
Yeah,
nobody else did it.
the
But
tap system has glycose going through the lines.
right through the faucet to make it, every beer comes out super ice cold.
Yeah, and that's
So he's always trying something new, and
Right.
important.
And I've been doing business with Banko 50 years.
I was just going to ask you question. How would you categorize your relationship with Banko Beverage over 50 years? And what do you really think of Doug Lisk?
Well, Doug's a good guy. I have a salesman, but he used to be my salesman, Doug. So I still deal with Doug because if I want to get it done, that's our.
I love you, Lou. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, there's no.
All right, you owe me that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Once you have, and Doug and I discussed this, and it's nothing against Jared, whatever, any other salesman. But when you're a good salesman and you move up to a supervisor role, you never lose that. You never lose that account because the account knows you became a supervisor for a reason, and the account knows that they can rely on you. And, so I know that your first call is always going to be to Doug. The last call will probably be to me, or Doug will come
I
in.
never bug you.
I know,
But
but
since
we
you
know each other.
brought that up, I will. No.
If you,
I don't.
Again, if it gets to me, it's more than we need to talk about. So Doug takes care of everything. But again, we don't have a lot more to talk about other than we're happy to celebrate your 50th.
So the fancy people on the phone things back there and those extra screens that keep getting our attention, they wanted maybe a favorite memory of 50 years. Excuse me.
The latest one, I was sitting right there. We were cutting the cake that Sal made, a nice big cake. And We all cut it. My daughter, I thought of the idea. I was going to do it, but I didn't. I was going to put the cake in my wife's face, but she ended up putting it in my face. That's one of my. I'll never forget that. That was fun. What other memories I have? Oh, when we used to have the stock car races, well, NASCAR, you could only get it on TBS, and TBS was only on the big dish. And we had football here, so you couldn't even walk through here. It was like, if the fire marshal came in, I'd probably be shut down. But that was in the 80s.
What was that anniversary that you had? That you were selling pizzas for like. Remember that one?
That was a
But
bad memory
Bonzer
because
was it was a good memomory. I mean,
$3 a pizza back, I think it was the 40th anniversary, and we're making
No,
them so
it was
fast.
way more than 10 years ago. That had to be 25.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, because I haven't been here
I'm sorry,
25
what did you
years.
say your name was?
Yeah, you're right.
And the pies would be going in the oven before the dough would proof up, and it would just, I was shooting myself in the foot. But, you know, it is what it is.
I don't remember that at all like that.
Yeah. Well,
I remember
the
just
dough didn't rise enough.
people that are Italian, not Scottish, know that when you make a Sicilian pizza, you got to proof the dough.
Yeah.
Well, you cook it ahead of time,
Right. That was the goal.
and you finish up later.
I told him, but he heard that. I'll put it in a box.
That's okay.
Well, that's what you do, though.
So
What?
You always get your Sicilian ready ahead of time. You don't cook that. I mean, that takes way more
take
time than
long
regular
part.
pizza.
Make them proof them up in the proofer.
yeah, yes.
The poofer.
And a lot of
The
people
poofer.
don't do
Now.
Sicilian
There's
anymore.
there's a poofer. So
Put that
this
on a
is
t-shirt.
probably
Pizza
this is
Lou's,
probably
the poofer.
one of my favorite episodes that we had because it was fun. It was laid back. We appreciate
Lou's drinking beer.
Lou's drinking beer.
I love
We
it.
appreciate,
He's like,
we
"Stop."
appreciate Skylar coming on. And Skylar, one thing I'd like you to talk about, just in the end, what did you used to do? What was your hobby that used to drive your Louie a little bit crazy?
I don't know.
Didn't you like flip cars and like head over head? I mean, you weren't
We used
supposed to, but
She used to be a
bunch of-
tomboy. I don't know what happened. There was the son I never had. So I got her into every form of racing possible, and
Yeah.
I was hoping she would stick to something. But
what was the racing that you did? That I think I remember your dad posting.
A lot of
like you-
go-karts and like mini bikes and all that, but I don't know.
So now you're so instead of flipping vehicles, now you're gonna flip pizzas.
Yeah.
There you go. Well,
she makes a great pie, by the way.
that's great.
She does a good job. And she has a lot of interest, so I know she wants to take it over. She has compassion for it.
Well, that's good. So the 100th anniversary. How old are you gonna be, Lou? In the 100th anniversary?
He'll be dead.
He'll be dead.
I'll be dead. 67 and 50 would be. Nah, I'll be dead.
He'll be 38 years
Yeah.
old. He'll be
Yeah.
fine. He's going to
He'll,
reverse age.
he'll be dead. I'll still be alive. I'll be 120. But he'll be dead.
How 50 years and
I'll
what?
be
You'll be 69.
Yeah. 69.
Okay, you could do it. So we're looking forward to the 100th anniversary of Lou's 50-yard or Skylar's 50-yard line sports bar, or we'll
see
call
you
it
in 50 years.
Who the hell's Lou? Lou who? Lou who's 50-yard line sports bar, and here at what's
And I gotta-
what's the address
That's
here,
what Mom
Lou?
always call him.
2626 Eastern Avenue.
2626 Easton Avenue, Bethel, Pennsylvania. Thank you. We had a great time, Lou.
Thanks.
Skylar.
Come out for the anniversary
Doug.
party. What's the weekend?
July 11th to the 20th.
July 11th to the 20th.
11th to the 20th.
Here we go.
Free pizza
Frederick
from
Fredericks Jr.
from
gonna be a
3 in the
pony ride.
morning, from 3 in the morning till 6 in the morning, every day from July 11th to July 20th. See ya.